Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the second installment of the Emsisoft malware removal series. Today, we're covering how to perform manual PUP removal. My name is Catherine, Emsisoft's marketing manager, and with us is one of our lead malware analysts giving us an expert introduction and a live manual PUP removal demo. I'd like everyone to meet our very own Elise.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Perfect. So most of you have heard of us, especially our loyal customers and those who have joined us in our previous webinar. But for those of you who are yet to get to know us, we're Emsisoft. We're a New Zealand-based antivirus and anti-malware company. We're best known for award-winning Emsisoft anti-malware and Emsisoft emergency kit software programs. For more information about us, please visit us at emsisoft.com, including info on a free trial of Emsisoft anti-malware. Okay, so for today's agenda, we're going to have a 30 to 45-minute webinar, including a Q&A at the end of the session. We'll cover the following: an overview of potentially unwanted programs or PUPs, how to deal with persistent PUPs, steps and tools you can use to manually remove them, a manual PUP removal demo, followed shortly with our Q&A. Throughout the webinar, feel free to submit your questions and we'll try to answer all of them during the Q&A portion. If you're on a desktop computer, you will see the question box on the right side of the screen. If you're on a cell phone or a tablet, it should be at the bottom below the video. Only Elisa and I can see your questions, so don't be shy to send those questions in. In the event that we run out of time or we need more information to be able to accurately answer your questions, we ask that you email us at support@emsisoft.com with a subject mentioning the webinar. And so, without further ado, I'd like to give the stage to our security expert and lead manual analyst, Elise.
Thank you for the introduction. Last time we talked about manual malware removal and why it is sometimes necessary. This time we want to focus on a slightly different category, namely potentially unwanted programs, usually abbreviated as PUPs. Just like last time, prevention and cure are absolutely necessary, but at the same time, if you are in front of a computer that is so riddled with PUPs, it can barely run a program anymore, and let's not even start about attempting to install an antivirus at that point, you really are interested in only one thing, and that is how to get rid of all the PUPs first, and then manual removal of PUP components can become necessary if, for example, PUP uninstallers don't exist or don't work properly or remnants are left. To understand better why manual malware removal, PUP removal may be necessary and how to perform it, first we need to discuss shortly what exactly PUPs are. Potentially unwanted is really a vague description because what is unwanted for me may not be unwanted for you or someone else. For example, why we can debate the usefulness of a PC optimizer or a browser toolbar as long as they do what they claim to do and they end up on your computer because you as the computer user chose to install them, they are not considered unwanted. They only become unwanted when they use less straightforward ways to ensure they are installed on a computer or display deceptive information to scare you into paying for a product that you don't need. We will look in closer detail at a few examples during the demo. It is also good to realize that the term PUP implies that any application labeled as such does not perform any malicious activity. It won't try to steal your passwords, online banking login, credit card details, or use your computer as part of a botnet, just to name a few things. Whenever an application starts to do that, it no longer is considered potentially unwanted. It is totally, completely unwanted. And in other words, we call that malware. When dealing with PUPs, just like with malware, it's really easy to jump straight to the removal part and just randomly start deleting files and folders you find associated to a PUP you see on screen. However, that is not the best way to attack a PUP problem. If the machine can be used without too much interference from pop-ups or other PUP annoyances, it also is always a good idea to first check for real malware, for example by checking the findings of an Autorun scan. And for more information about that, please refer to our previous webinar video. Malware poses a bigger threat because it can do more than just be annoying, and for that reason it has priority when it comes to removal. Once you have determined no real malware is present, it's time to start identifying and removing PUPs. And the first place to start doing that is in the Programs and Features list. Check all installed programs in the list and note down the ones you don't know or have positively identified as PUP. Once you have checked out all unknown entries, try to uninstall all identified PUP applications. Even though the uninstall process may fail in some cases, it usually will already solve quite a few PUP problems on the machine, and it leaves you with less to do for the manual cleanup part. After this, the only thing you still have to do is make a list of the remaining problems and track down the cause of these problems. Determine which program or Windows component has a problem and check it out. You can do this, for example, using Autoruns if something keeps starting automatically and you don't know what it is or where it is located. If a problem is related, for example, to a browser, check if only one browser is affected. If it is, check if the browser shortcut you used is involved. If that isn't the case, check the browser preferences and the installed extensions. These are just a few examples, and we'll look at this in the demo as well. Just like last time in manual malware removal, tools are not the important thing. And the same applies for PUP removal. As long as you know what you want to accomplish, you can use whatever tool or method you think will help you with that task. A few handy tools in PUP removal are Autoruns to identify load points, the Programs and Features Windows app to identify installed PUPs, the Windows Task Scheduler and Regedit to help with the removal of load points, browser settings to address any problem with installed extensions, modified home pages, search settings, and so on. And by the way, if at this point you are not sure what a load point is, you can find out more about it in our previous webinar video and blog article. It's good to note that while Autoruns is great to identify and remove load points for PUPs, so that all those annoying pop-ups and reminders won't keep coming up while you work on cleaning it, it's less useful here than when dealing with real malware. Usually quite a number of program folders are used, and it's just much easier to target those by using an uninstaller, if there is one, than to hunt for them manually. Okay, and with that, it's time for our demo. I will be using, just like last time, an up-to-date Windows 10 virtual machine, which should be on screen now for all of you. This machine is up to date. All latest updates are installed. No programs have been installed except for what's necessary. And as you can see on screen, we have a few problems. Well, PUPs. If you look at the program that's in front now, My PC Repair 2018, you might be scared that may be 302 potentially unwanted items found. That's scary when you run this and you don't know much about computers. You may think, oh no, I need to fix all of this because, well, my computer has a lot of problems. Except it's not entirely that bad. First of all, let's look at the program interface and what might determine us to think this is a PUP and not real. And let's just start with the name, My PC Repair 2018. That sounds just too good to be true. There's no company name involved. My PC Repair is just a very, very generic name. And if you are at all familiar with this type of PUP, you will know there are a lot of similar programs that use the same interface but have a different name, and they are all as generic. Then let's see. Attention, 302 potentially unwanted items found. This is meant to scare you into fixing. So let's just try to do that. Let's start repair. Unfortunately, no repair is starting. Instead, we can buy stuff, and we get a really good deal. Apparently, we get even a free antivirus. And let's just be clear here: that's a legitimate antivirus, not a fake one. So we get it for free. That's amazing. You can immediately put in your credit card details, and you're all set. Of course, we're not going to do that, but I just wanted to show you that the step from scare to buy is very quickly made in this PUP. Okay, then let's see. We already determined this is scareware. Now let's see, they even have a PUP detection. Isn't that nice? It's too bad they don't detect their own program. But we can also maybe see some of the problems they found. They have enhanced system performance, a startup and install and user items. I'm interested in that startup and install. That sounds like something we may want to see. So let's click on it. Let's see if we can get any results that remove programs. I really want to see what it found there. Except, well, any of you who have worked with the registry and know about the uninstaller entries will know that this is not related at all to any uninstaller entries. These are just some objects listed without any indication why they might be bad. I have not checked them out. Probably if you would remove them, nothing would happen. It is possible these are leftovers from programs that were installed and no longer are. I don't know. But I do know one thing. Removing these entries listed here will not affect in any way system performance, because they don't do anything. They occupy virtually no space. There is no way these entries can be responsible for any computer problems, which this virtual machine doesn't have. Okay, so this program is, determined PUP, and we can just minimize it and look at what else we have. That's something called, my PC repair is still running in the background. That's great. We have driver updater, an ultimate driver booster. Well, first of all, no matter how legitimate a driver updater is, you can always find drivers on the manufacturer's website from the hardware you are looking for drivers for. So I would recommend always to use that. But okay, even say we want to see if this is legitimate. Again, you see already the big red scare bar. 3 out-of-date drivers found. I want to know what they are. Communication supports, a standard PS2 keyboard, and a PCI bus. All of these, let's just say about this one, I don't have a PS2 keyboard attached to this computer, or virtual or host at all. Communication support and PCI bus are related to the motherboard. I do know what I have installed. Let's see what they recommend. I have an outdated driver from Microsoft. They recommend a new driver from LG Electronics. It so happens I do not own any piece of equipment, hardware, device from LG. So I highly doubt this is accurate. And if they do offer this driver, it won't make my computer behave better. Let's check this one as well. Again, I don't own anything from that company. I don't even have a PS2 keyboard attached. Then the PCI bus, and here there's even a funnier thing going on. They recommend a driver from AMD, even though I have an Intel motherboard. So I'm not going to trust any of these data. What's more, I really want you to look at this part. Using Microsoft technology, they use it as some sort of stamp. Using Microsoft technology, I can use it as well. I'm using Windows. I'm using Microsoft technology. If you develop a program that runs on Windows, you're using Microsoft technology. That does not say anything at all about how good your product is, even though it is used as such here. Let's again try to activate. Thank you for choosing. Yes, well, purchase now. We're not going to do that, but again, we can get McAfee antivirus free. It's nice to notice here you see a lot of logos, winner of 5-star awards. Nothing at all can be clicked. PC World, the Daily, the Washington Post, they all seem to have reviews or quotes. I can't click anything. The only thing I can click here is buy now, because that's what they want you to do. Buy a program that is absolutely worthless, you don't need, and displays information that's, well, at the very best is very, very questionable. So we're going to close there's one thing I want to show you here. And that's about the McAfee antivirus offer. So that will be included in your price here. Except when I first encountered this PUP some months ago, it looked a bit different, and I had an old screenshot. The quality isn't that good, but I want to share this with you. Where do I have my screenshot? It's here. I will zoom it a bit so you all can see what it says here. First month free, 11 additional payments of $4.99 every month. What they offer is the normal McAfee trial. That's a 30-day trial that almost any legitimate antivirus will offer you, including Emsisoft. And so they don't offer anything free at all. They removed it recently because probably people didn't fall for their sales tactics anymore. Okay, these two programs are clearly PUPs and need to be removed. No, I really want to close it. Before doing that, I want to give you a real quick look at an Autorun results. I'm not going into what Autorun does, how to use it to remove it, except for one small example. If you want more information about that, please see our previous webinar recording. As you can see, driver updater has a load point under the task scheduler, and it might be nice to see what exactly it does there. So we're going to open the task scheduler. Oh, let's keep that maximized. We're opening the library, and you can see driver updater here. It has a trigger at logon of any user. That means if any user logs on to this machine, it will start a scan automatically. You can see the details here, conditions, actions. It will start the action is it starts a program. It will do the startup show, whatever that is. It can be much good. And at this point, you could just delete this task. It is not necessary, which I'll show you, because it will just be uninstalled correctly. You could even disable the task here. You could run it from here, for example. There are plenty of things that you could do, and it's interesting to see because it gives a good idea of what exactly these programs do through these tasks and what their possibilities are. They can also set it here to run every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes. And we're closing this now. At this point, I could use Autoruns to disable all the load points, then go after all the files and folders, and then see if anything is left. But I really want to demonstrate how well the uninstaller for an obviously questionable program may work. And to do that, I'm just going to bring up the run box by hitting the Windows key plus R. It already has the shortcut here, appwiz.cpl. This will work on any version of Windows and will bring up the program features list. So what have we installed? We have 7-zip, that's legitimate. We have driver updater, we already know that's not. Emsisoft anti-malware, Google Chrome, hashtag, Java, Microsoft OneDrive. Mozilla Firefox, My PC Repair Hello, Python, Sublime Text, VMware, VT hashtag. There's no other PUP present here. There are only two, and we can just uninstall these. And again, this may seem really, really obvious, but I'm showing this because it happens so often that people do not realize they can get rid of a lot of PUPs this way, and they can save themselves a lot of headache doing this. Okay, look, we can get 75% off deal on our driver updater now. $4.99 buy now. And it's changed to $7.49. This is not correct. I don't want this. I'm going to uninstall it. I mean, if they even cheat on their own offers, that's too bad. No, I want to uninstall it. Note how big the buy button is and how small the no, I want to uninstall option is. I want to delete any associated file. And again, they're really sad to see me go. They give me another offer. No, I really don't want it. Okay, let's do the same for my PC repair. There we go. Yes, I'm really sure. It was removed. As you can see, the shortcuts are gone. This one is not a shortcut, it's the installer, which I will show you a bit later because it illustrates how you end up with two PUPs in one installer. Okay, this list is now clean. We can quickly check if Autorun still shows the load points or not. Let's scroll down. Let's wait it to finish. And even though this is obviously a PUP, their uninstaller worked perfectly well. There is no malware left in Autorun's visible. So then it's time to check the programs we usually use to see if there are any problems left. Let's start with Mozilla Firefox. Okay, that's Start Virus Total, which is my homepage. That's great. Let's see if other sites work as well. Okay, here we have a problem. If you have read a blog article, you will recognize this as the full tab extension, which takes over your new tab window and search results. I don't want this. Now, for manual removal on that one, I really recommend you to read our blog article because there is a lot of reading involved. I can bring up the articles found on Google searches, but that would mean we would just spend half an hour all reading. That's not really useful. So I'm going to remove this the normal way. If you want to know how to do this manually, just read the blog article. And if you have questions about that, of course, you can ask them here or send an email to support@emsisoft.com. Okay, I'm going to disable and remove this. That went without any problem. Let's see if it works now. Yes. Okay, for Firefox, that worked. Let's see if Chrome also is clean. Okay, I don't know what's happening here, but something that's called t.uwan.com is trying to load. And that's not my homepage. My homepage is Virus Total. So we can check the settings. Let's see if we find anything here. We see full tab, but full tab is not responsible for this because otherwise it would have done the same in Firefox. That's my default browser. Open on startup. Open a specific set of pages. Virus Total. So it's obviously not opening Virus Total. So something else must be going on. And the fact that only this browser is affected, but not Firefox, means that the problem is located somewhere in Chrome or its settings. Also, the site can be reached. Obviously, we have an internet connection. Otherwise, if you are not sure at this point, you would also check if the computer has a working internet connection. You can do that by using a different browser. You can do it by trying to send yourself an email. You can do it by pinging using the command line. There are a number of options. You can check if other devices on the same network have an internet connection and so on. You can of course run the troubleshooter if you're not sure, but in this case there's no question about it. We have an internet connection, we just have a problem. So then the first thing we can do is, let's see if we can open Chrome from its executable and not a shortcut, because this is a taskbar shortcut. So let's see, we're going to the Chrome application, chrome.exe. I'm going to double click this. By doing this, I'm just making sure I'm not using any shortcut, because shortcuts can be infected and they are frequently affected by PUPs. Okay, and now we have a different problem. We have new tab here. No, I want to restore my settings. Let's see. Okay, I'm now having the normal Google page. I want to see if now that I start Chrome again. So Chrome detected that an extension was managing my new tab or homepage. And it asked the user if they wanted to keep it that way. It's really good to see that browsers, because Firefox can do the same, that browsers are really keeping up with tracking this type of PUP activity and making users aware of it. Okay, this is great. Chrome has reset my settings. It does not want to load VirusTotal yet. But anyway, it behaves differently from the shortcut. So I'm expecting the problem to be there. This is set correctly. I'm going to check if our shortcut here has been affected. You can just do that by right-clicking the shortcut, right-clicking Google Chrome, and selecting Properties. And we have here the shortcut properties. And we have a target file, which loads something koala.com. And that probably redirects to our file here to check if this is the cause, because this URL is something I don't want to see here. I'm highlighting and deleting it. Of course, make sure you don't break the target path here, because that will break your shortcut and it won't launch. Starts in, and the other entries here are not affected. So we're going to apply. Okay. Closing Chrome at all. All instances of Chrome have been closed, and we're trying to launch a shortcut again. And as you can see, VirusTotal loads just fine this time now, just as it should be. Which means that our programs are now performing fine as well. Of course, a normal computer would have a lot more programs here. Just to keep this simple, I've only checked the browsers here, because this is a demo and we don't want to make it overly complicated. At this point, we can just run a scan to see if everything is really taken care of. As you can see, I have no protection because I didn't want the scanner to detect any of the PUPs in this demo. I'm going to make sure it's up to date. And during the scan, I also want to quickly show you the installer we have still on screen in the bottom left corner. Okay, going to do a malware scan, and while that's running, let's see what happens when you run this. This is the My PC Repair 2018 installer as downloaded from the internet. You can download this type of installers. For example, when you're surfing and you see an ad, solve all your computer problems in one click, or solve any stability issues in one click, or solve your slow PC problems by clicking here. And when you do that, you get a download to this type of file. I'm going to run it. And it says, welcome to the MyPC Repair 2080 setup wizard. You have license agreement, you have terms of use, privacy policy. It looks great. Then look, this is a classic PUP screen, installer screen. A lot of installers you find on download portals or from ads contain this type of offer. And why do they include this type of offer? It's very simple, because these offers bring them money. In this case, Driver Updater and MyPC Repair 2018 belong to the same developer or company. I have no idea who's behind them. But the goal of these people is to earn money. And they earn money by scaring you into purchasing their PUP. So if you already install MyPC Repair 2080, they try to scare you or try to trick you into downloading Driver Updater as well, and to purchase both products, because that will give them more money. In case of more generic installers, that offer, for example, you're looking for a program, you Google it, you click the first hit, and it's download portal, and that download portal offers you an installer that also has some free offers for other third-party software. That download portal will earn money for any offer you install, even if you uninstall these programs later on. And if you think it's a few cents, no, that can actually be as much as $2 per installation, which is a lot, because if you trick 100 people into installing a product, your revenue is $200. If you trick 1,000, it's 2,000, and you don't have to do anything for it except for distributing a few free programs in your installers. Okay, so this, I'm not going to install this again. We already had it. Just going to minimize it, because otherwise it will nag me. As you can see, the only object found was our installer. Nothing else is found. And because I know this VM, I can tell you the rest of it is clean. And we can just quarantine it. And that's the end of the remove. I'm not going to quarantine this yet because it's running. I could close it. It won't want to. That will require a reboot because the object is still running. As you can see, some detections cannot be removed. The computer restart is required. I'm sure you all know what a computer restart is, and I'm not going to show that. So that was it for our demo today. And after that, of course, now that we're done with the PUP cleanup, it's also a good idea to talk about prevention. How can you avoid being infected by PUPs? Of course, you need an antivirus that has proper PUP detection, but it's very, very easy to have one PUP slip by, especially because PUPs often try to be as legitimate as possible while still ending up installed on a computer uninvited. To minimize the risk of getting a PUP, it's good practice to observe the following. Whenever possible, download software from the developer's website and not from a download portal. Many download portals deliver the software you're looking for inside a wrapper that also has a few free offers for you that are usually pre-checked or hidden under advanced options or expert options or something similar. And no matter what, always read carefully what you agree to before clicking the next button. Uncheck any undesired option or click the skip button for included offers or suggested changes to your browser settings. Keep in mind that people who include these options in their installers get paid quite a bit if you do install the offered third-party application, even if you uninstall them later.
All right. Thank you, Elise, for that great session. So getting started with the Q&A portion right away, we received several questions during the presentation. The first one we have is, what's the difference between PUPs and, I guess this is PUAs, and is there a difference in how to remove them manually?
Well, that's a really simple to answer because they're both the same thing. The difference is really, well, some antivirus, anti-malware vendors use PUP, some use PUA. The first means a potentially unwanted program. The second means potentially unwanted application. And an application or program, well, they're in this context interchangeable, really. So it really is a term. Some antivirus programs use one term, some use the other, and there is no functional difference. We opted to use PUP, but it's just because it's easier to talk about PUPs because instead of PUAs.
Okay. And we only have time for one more question. But the question is, the checkout pages you showed look legitimate. Are there quick ways to spot real ones from fake ones?
Well, the checkout pages are legitimate. Let's not get confused here. They are not fake checkout pages. If you enter your credit card details there, you won't, your credit card details won't get stolen or abused, or they're not phishing attempts. So the checkout is legitimate itself. However, what you can see is that those pages usually have some recommendations, quotes, reviews, ratings listed, and usually none of them are having a link in them. You can't click them because they're just images on the site, and they're not real. Usually that's one of the first signs that what they claim they are and what they claim they do is not real, and they're just trying to scam you out of your money. Also, what's really tricky there is that often you sign up for an option that will auto-renew the payment once it expires. Or for example, they have in small letters listed that payments are made every 6 months, because if you see $19.95 as checkout price, you assume that's for a year's license, and that may not be true. That's you also have to be careful of that. But that kind of thing, if you carefully examine it, makes it really easy to spot if you're dealing with something real or not. And then again, there was an antivirus offer included. The price, I believe, was from $59.95 to $0. That's not realistic. I mean, if an offer seems to be too good to be true, it usually is, and that goes here as well. I also see one more question I can quickly address. Yes, but we will have replay. They will be on. It will be on our YouTube channel, just like last time. So no worries there. We will put it up.
Okay, and Elise, thank you, and everyone, thank you as well for joining us today. Like Elise said, we'll be posting a recording of this webinar on the Emsisoft YouTube page at youtube.com/Emsisoft, where you'll find all our other videos as well. and we'll also notify you via the newsletter when it's available. Unfortunately, our demo went a little over the time, so if yours is one of the questions we weren't able to get to, please send us an email at support@mcsoft.com. And to learn more about our products for personal and business use, including a free trial of Emsisoft anti-malware, please visit us at mcsoft.com. And again, thank you everyone. Have a great day, and we hope to see you again in the next installment of the series.